All right, folks, listen, we've reached that part of the show now, and this time of the week for Rewind, or like I like to call it sometimes, the Feeling Old segment, where we look back at the films that this week turn 20 years old and the films that also just turned 10 years old this week. And we're going to start off with the films that turned 10 years old this week. We've got 10 years ago this week, Deuce, Bigalow, European Gigolo, the highly anticipated sequel. We've got The Skeleton Key, the Kate Hudson horror film. And speaking of Mark Wahlberg, Four Brothers. Clark, let's start with you. Which of these movies, if any, stood out to you?
Actually, one of them does, and I'm being very serious. Skeleton Key. Skeleton Key is not a good movie, admittedly.
I'm so glad you said that. I thought we were going to go in a totally different direction.
However, since Hollywood is now in the business of remaking movies that are 10 years old or less, can we remake Skeleton Key?
That's a good
premise is fantastic, and it's this great southern gothic New Orleans horror or concept location. It's got elements of voodoo, it's such a miss. It was such a miss, but the idea was so good. So I vote remaking Skeleton Key.
You know, I think you just completely nailed it. Yeah, that movie was bad, but the concept was great. And you execute that movie right, you've got a really cool modern classic that I think you could tell, and it would be inexpensive. This is right up Blumhouse's alley. Actually,
Let me make a call. I'll be right back.
This would be right up their alley. Deuce Bigalow, European Gigolo has to be, honestly, I think it has to be, without hyperbole, on my top 10 worst comedies of all time. It is so unbelievably unfunny and just awful. Now, I didn't like the first one either, and I got a lot of friends who really did. I didn't like it, but I didn't loathe it. It's not like memorable, it's so bad. European Gigolo, so horrifically awful. And it kind of ended the conversation about, is Rob Schneider going to be a legit leading man and not ever just be, is it Garrett? Like, if he's just not going to be, no, he's always just going to be that guy. It's just, no. Four Brothers, decent movie. I liked Four Brothers. I enjoyed Four Brothers myself, but which of these films stand out to you?
Well, obviously European Gigolo. I mean, they didn't give me a dime off that story, and I lived that for 5 years of my life. I never saw Deuce Bigalow, either of the Deuce Bigelows. I know the first one was a moderate hit, so whatever, God love you for making a sequel and trying. Skeleton Key, I thought was an entertaining horror movie for a while, and you're right, the concept deserves another treatment because of the way that it's revealed what's actually going on, and it just goes to show you, if you're looking at property anywhere in the United States, don't buy in upstate New York, and don't buy in New Orleans because your place is haunted.
All right, now let's move on to the films that turn 20 years old this week, and we've got the Michelle Pfeiffer Dangerous Minds. We've got the ever so popular A Walk in the Clouds, and we've got A Kid in King Arthur's Court. I gotta tell you, I didn't see a Kid in King Arthur's Court.
Yeah.
I never felt drawn to see. Have you? You saw it? Oh,
I saw it. I remember that one.
Really?
That's the one that I remember. I totally saw that movie. That guy, I remember that. Is that Thomas Ian Nicholas?
Oh, it might be.
Maybe?
Sure.
I'll
go with that.
Maybe not,
know.
or someone else. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't think it is, actually. I think I got his name wrong. Regardless, I remember that movie. And also, I remember Dangerous Minds, Coolio song. I knew all the words to Gangster's Paradise. I was the coolest 9-year-old ever.
Which of these movies stand out to you?
Yeah, Dangerous Minds is the one that stands out because of the Coolio tune is the one that you remember it more than the movie. But it was a kind of a cool story, and then it spawned a bunch of other teachers helping out ruffian kids and learning about themselves, and even a spoof movie called High School High with John Lovitz, I believe, and Tia Carrere. Yeah, I've seen every movie, even the bad ones, except for Four Brothers and Deuce Bigalow, European Gigolo, apparently.
Yeah, Dangerous Minds is actually one of these films that kind of spawned similar themed films to come after it for the next 10, 15 years. And you're right, and that kind of makes it an important film in many ways. And I really like Michelle Pfeiffer in the role.
Oh, yeah.
I thought she was really strong in the role. Walk in the Clouds, for all the wrong reasons, is the one that I remember the most. For all the wrong reasons. Just, no, not a good movie. Not a good one at all. And actually, no, I just pulled it up on IMDb in front of me and I'm trying to look for things. It's like, was it as bad as I remember? And I'm looking at different facts and figures like, no, this is everything bad thing that I remember. It did indeed come from that movie.
Well, it was like an attempt for Keanu Reeves to step outside because, you know, he was Bill and Ted and then Point Break and then Speed.
Yeah.
He was really good in Speed.
Yes,
and it's
he
like
was.
this guy might have all the tools. And you see Walking the Clouds, you're like, oh, this is reminding me of him and Bram Stoker's Dracula way too much. And then The Matrix came out and let us forget about A Walk in the Clouds. So take the red pill.